Welcome back to The Explainer. So, you've been using generative AI at work, and now you're ready to make it official. Well, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're laying out the exact step-by-step roadmap for conquering the Microsoft AB-730 AI Business Professional Certification. We're going to break down exactly what this exam measures, where you really need to focus your study time, and the strategy you need to just entirely crush it.
But first, let's address the elephant in the room. How exactly do you prove your AI skills without writing a single line of code? I mean, for the longest time, tech certs were totally gated behind these heavy technical requirements. But, the workplace is changing. Generative AI is a productivity tool now, not just a developer tool. And this specific certification, it's designed perfectly to validate the modern business professional, like you, who just uses AI to get things done.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First, we'll define the ideal candidate profile, then visualize the exam syllabus. After that, we'll break down the three core pillars: Gen AI fundamentals, prompts and conversations, and drafting content. Finally, we'll wrap up with logistics and strategy.
Section 1. The ideal candidate profile. Who exactly is this exam for?
The dividing line here is just brilliant. Look, if you're comfortable navigating core Microsoft 365 apps, Outlook, Word, Teams, and you're already using Copilot to drive actual business outcomes, you already have the foundation. On the flip side, building AI apps, writing code, no way. You absolutely do not need these skills. Your existing knowledge of everyday business processes is your biggest asset here.
In fact, the official study guide explicitly states this. It says, you take advantage of AI to improve daily work without building AI apps or writing code. I mean, let that sink in for a second. This exam isn't trying to trick you into becoming a software engineer. It's testing your practical ability to make informed decisions and just improve efficiency in a standard everyday business context using generative AI.
All right, Section 2, visualizing the syllabus, the actual skills measured.
As of the latest updates, this chart is going to be your absolute best friend for prioritizing your study time. It breaks the exam down into 3 distinct slices. Managing prompts and conversations takes the lion's share at 35 to 40%. Understanding generative AI fundamentals makes up 25 to 30%, and drafting and analyzing business content rounds the whole thing out with another 25 to 30%. So you can visually see exactly where you should be spending the bulk of your effort. Let's unpack each of these, one by one. Moving right along to Section 3. Pillar 1, Generative AI Fundamentals. So, this first pillar represents 25 to 30% of your overall score, and the absolutely crucial point here is understanding capabilities across different Microsoft 365 experiences. You really need to know the fundamental difference to find right here, chat experience versus agent experience. Basically, the exam expects you to know when you should just be having a quick conversational interaction and when you have a specific complex use case that actually requires creating your own custom agent. Plus, you've got to understand how Copilot keeps your organization's info private and secure, and how the context, like, your specific work files, web data, or the app you're actively using, actually affects the responses Copilot gives you.
Still within this fundamentals pillar, you have got to be able to identify responsible AI and data protection practices. Here's a fun fact for you. AI doesn't actually know anything. It predicts, which means you're going to be tested on mitigating specific risks like fabrications, prompt injection, and over-reliance. The exam tests your ability to select appropriate verification steps, things like performing citation checks and doing a good old-fashioned human review. You also really need to understand how data protection restricts prompt results to keep sensitive data safe.
Section 4. Pillar 2. Managing prompts and conversations.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the weighting. At 35 to 40%, this is the single largest skill area measured. Mastering prompt management isn't just like a good idea. It is the absolute core of passing this exam. If you're going to over-index your studying anywhere, do it right here.
The exam is going to test your functional ability to execute this exact lifecycle right inside Microsoft 365 Copilot. First off, you need to understand how to create an effective prompt and select the right resources to reference in it. But honestly, it goes way beyond just typing text into a box. Can you save a prompt? Can you schedule it? Can you share it with a colleague? Furthermore, you have to know how to manage the conversations themselves, like how to find previous ones, rename a chat, delete it, or add a conversation to a notebook. These are the highly practical, everyday tasks you'll be tested on.
And beyond those basic prompts, this massive section also covers creating and managing Microsoft 365 Copilot agents. You really need to know when to just pull an existing agent from the agent store versus creating a brand new one using a template. You're going to be tested on how to configure an agent so it has knowledge, how to set its instructions, its capabilities, and suggested prompts, and finally, how to share that awesome custom agent with your team members.
Okay, Section 5, Pillar 3, Drafting and Analyzing Business Content. This final pillar is the remaining 25 to 30% of the exam, and it really proves that you know how to connect these AI tools to tangible, daily business outcomes. The syllabus lists some very specific, practical tasks you need to master. For instance, you should be able to create a brand new document from a prompt or generate one from an existing document. Can you generate a quick management summary based on a super long document? Can you seamlessly move data and insights between different Microsoft 365 apps? You also need to understand how to manage meetings and collaboration, specifically describing how to use Microsoft 365 Copilot for meetings, how to use Copilot pages for collaboration, and how Copilot actually uses memory and instructions to assist you.
And finally, Section 6, Logistics and Strategy, the gear you need.
700. This is your magic number. A score of 700 or greater is what's required to pass the AB-730 exam. Everything we literally just discussed across those three pillars is combining to get you over this specific threshold.
You also really need to know the environment you're walking into on test day. The exam mostly covers features that are in general availability or GA. They might throw in some preview features, but only if they're super commonly used. Also, if the exam isn't available in your preferred language, you can actually request an additional 30 minutes to complete it. You can also request accommodations if you need assistive devices or just some extra time. And here is a really great perk. Microsoft certifications expire annually, but you can renew them by passing a completely free online assessment right on your Microsoft Learn profile. How cool is that?
Now, to help get you to that 700, the study guide provides a total wealth of resources. I highly recommend you just take a screenshot of this map right now. You need to get hands-on experience before the exam, so use Microsoft Learn for self-paced modules and instructor-led courses. Dive deep into the official Microsoft 365 Copilot docs, and please don't study in a silo. Lean on the Microsoft 365 Copilot Community Hub and check out the Exam Readiness Zone videos. Connecting your certification profile to Microsoft Learn is definitely the best way to keep all this organized.
So, we've unpacked the ideal candidate, visualized the three core pillars of the syllabus, and laid out the exact exam logistics. Remember, you don't need to write code, you just need to master how to effectively instruct and collaborate with AI to drive real business results. So, I will leave you with this one thought. Now that you have the roadmap, how will you use Copilot today to start preparing for your certification tomorrow?